introduce you to how Nityananda Prabhu is viewed by exalted Vaishnava. Because for us to understand who such a great personality is, we have no access to that information ourselves. And of course, Srila Prabhupada has given us wonderful books, and through the medium of those books, we get to see through the eyes of Prabhupada, he is introducing us to how the previous acharyas, the Vaishnavas, how they viewed Nityananda Prabhu. These Goswamis, pure devotees, whose life was spent in thinking about, in acting upon the welfare of all humanity. Such exalted Goswamis, how did they see Nityananda Prabhu? So let us start with this beautiful song, which is composed by Narottam Das Thakur. Nitai pada kamala koti chandra sushitala je chaya jagat churai je chaya jagat churai heno nitai bine bhai radha krishna paite nai dhrida kori dharo nitai pai dhrida kori dharo nitai pai. So this is the first verse of this wonderful song, where Narottam Das Thakur is glorifying the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. So he is first bringing to attention our current situation in the material world. This Jagat, or this material world, is full of miseries and anxieties and difficulties. Of course, when we are younger, we are not able to see these miseries and anxieties. Life seems to be taken care of by our parents or elders in the society. But even a student, if you were to ask, and increasingly so, even student life is full of anxieties. There is so much increase in number of cases where even students, small young students, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade students are all under stress, and there are special dedicated counselors in schools, and all they are doing is counseling the students on how to maintain mental equilibrium. So that is our state of our society. So in such a case, when we are burning with the material distress, there is cooling rays of moonshine, of millions of moons, Koti Chandra Sushitala. And where do we get that from? Nitai Pada Kamala, from the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. And so this is how Narottam Das Thakur introduces Nityananda Prabhu, is by introducing us to the cooling rays of his lotus feet. Now, what happens if we don't take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu? Heno Nitai Bine Bhai, Radha Krishna Paite Nai. We don't get the mercy of Radha Krishna. And anyone who is endeavoring to advance in spiritual knowledge, as we have been educated, unless we have the goal of attaining Krishna Prema, if we don't even have the goal, there is no chance of attaining that. And if we don't have that goal, there is no chance of overcoming the modes of influence of the modes of material nature. There is no way of achieving Mam chayo abhyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So the sagunan samatityetan can never happen, because abhyabhichareni bhakti, not even a goal. So first of all, we have to set the goal that I want avyabhicharini bhakti for Radha and Krishna. But that goal, Narottam Das Thakur is saying, cannot be met, simply cannot be met. Nitai Bine Bhai. Without the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, that goal can never be met. Dhrida Kori Dharo Nitai Bhai. So let us see the translation. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are the shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight, not only of one, but millions of moons. If the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, one must firmly, Dhrida Kori, firmly catch hold of the lotus feet. Nitai Pai, Dharo Nitai Pai. Catch hold, Dharo. What should we catch hold of? Nitai Pai. Catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. And then Narottam Das Thakur further says, Se sambandha nahi jar, britha janme gelotar, se pashu boro durachar. Nitai na bolilo mukhe, majilo samsara sukhe, vidyakule ki karibotar. Vidyakule ki karibotar. Se sambandha nahi jar. If a person is not trying to understand and establish the relationship with Nityananda Prabhu, if we don't understand, maybe we think Nityananda Prabhu is somebody. What for me? Somebody called Nityananda Prabhu is there 500 years back. So many saints and sadhus have, after all, appeared in the holy land of Bharatavarsha. Like that, there is one more sadhu who is there, one among thousands and thousands of sadhus. If somebody thinks like that, Britha Janma Gelotar, then that at the time of death, what is the use of Britha and Janma? That is the Janma is good parentage. If somebody has got good parentage and whatever knowledge a person may have acquired, what is the use of that at the time of death? Because life has been spent without understanding our relationship with Nityananda Prabhu. Se sambandha nahi jar, no relationship. And we are quitting the body. Such a person is worse than a misbehaving animal, not just an ordinary animal. Se pashu boro durachar. That is not just in Bhagavatam, often it is said that a person who has not spent his life in advancement of devotional service, if a person who has not spent his life in tapasya, is leading the life of an animal. But here, Narottam Das Thakur is even more stronger. He is not mincing words. He is saying it's not just ordinary animal. It is a misbehaving animal, not even a well-behaved animal. Nitai no boli no mukhe, if a person has not even, let us say, even unknowingly, if he has not chanted. Vidya kule ki koribotar, that is the birth and the knowledge. Vidya ki koribotar, that is at the time of death. What is the use of Vidya and kule, birth? There is no use. And if a person has been spending his entire life in majilo samsara sukhe, in the imaginary, chasing the imaginary pleasures of the material life, if I'm completely immersed, the person is fully immersed, no time for understanding who is Nityananda Prabhu, then where is the question of having a successful life? That such a person is worse than a misbehaving animal, is worse than an animal. He's a misbehaving animal. And whatever material knowledge he has got, whatever degrees from various best institutes, best universities, and whatever designation of a CEO or a founder, startup, whatever designation he may have, complete useless. That person may be a son or grandson of a great personality, whatever celebrities you can think of. But if he has spent his life without understanding the relationship with Nityananda Prabhu, then that is a worse than misbehaving animal. Anyone who has not established his relationship with Nityananda Prabhu is understood to have spoiled his valuable human birth. Such a human being is actually an uncontrollable animal because he never uttered the holy name of Nityananda. He has become merged into so-called material happiness. What can his useless education and family tradition do to help him? Ahankare mata hoya nitai pada pasariya asatyera satya kori mani nitaye karuna habe braja radha krishna pabe dharo nitai charane dukhani dharo nitai charana dukhani. A person, because of his overcome by false ego, ahankara. Is that verse in Bhagavad Gita? Ahankara vimudhatma kartaram timanyate. Prakritehi kriyamanani. So actually all the activities that are happening in the material world, they're happening as a result of interaction of the three modes of material nature. Prakritehi kriyamanani gunakarmani sarvashaha. So all these activities are actually carried out by material nature, by the interactions of modes of material nature. But ahankara vimudhatma, by identification with the body, the false identification that I am this body, I have done this, I am, because of my efforts, something is happening. Because of me, this family is running. Because of me, the society, this nation, this temple, whatever it may be, is running. So this kind of a false ego, ahankara mattahaya, nitai pada pasariya, asatyera, having forgotten, the not having taken shelter of Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet, asatyera satya korimani. This entire material world is temporary, and is considered to be asatya. And this asatya or asat has been considered to be sat, eternal. So sat means eternal, asat means temporary. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha. So this material world is completely asat. But because we are considering ourselves to be this body, we are mistaking that this is a permanent place and spend our entire lifetime in making arrangement for a secure future, for securing the future. We just consider our life. We spend our childhood preparing for college. What is the purpose of college? To get a good job. What is the purpose of good job? Why not any job? It has to be a good job. Why? So that we have some excess money to take care of retirement. Otherwise, what happens after retirement? When there is no income and there is nobody to take care of us. So if you see, right from childhood, right from preschool, right from school, the entire life is spent actually in preparing for old age. Thinking that I'm here, I have to be fully secure, and all the effort that is spent in satisfying the relationships, the friendships, and the so-called obligations to the society, entire life is spent in considering, under the belief that I am here permanently. My relatives are here permanently. With this belief, we are carrying out our life. Nitayar Karuna Habe Braja Radha Krishna Pave. Only by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, one can obtain the love of Radha and Krishna. Dharo Nitai Charana. Therefore, one must hold on to the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet. Being maddened after false prestige and identification with the body, one is thinking, oh, what is Nityananda? What can he do for me? I don't care. The result is that he's accepting false to be truth. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha Krishna, you must first achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda. When he is merciful to you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Therefore, you should firmly grasp the lotus feet of Nityananda. And the last verse. Nitaye charana satya tahara sevaka nitya nitai pada sada koro asha narottama boro dukhi nitai mora koro sukhi rakho ranga charanera pasha rakho ranga charanera pasha. Narottam Das Thakur is saying that I am extremely unhappy. Now, of course, a pure devotee has different moods. This is not material unhappiness, not the material anxiety and unhappiness that we experience. This is the mood of separation from Nityananda Prabhu. Narottam Das Thakur is expressing his sorrow, anguish at separation from Nityananda Prabhu, and is begging for Nityananda Prabhu to make him happy by association. How? By keeping him charanera pasa, close to his lotus feet. He wants to be always under the shelter of Nityananda Prabhu, because Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet are the only truth. Nitayar charana satya, tahar sevaka nitya. Therefore, one must always be aiming to be the eternal servant of Nityananda Prabhu. Nitai pada sada karo asha. So one should always be anticipating the mercy and anticipating to be a servitor of the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. So this is the prayer of Narottam Das Thakur. The lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion, they are a fact. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. Always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. This Narottam Dasa is very unhappy. Therefore, I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make him happy. My dear Lord, please keep me close to your lotus feet. So with this mood of prayer to Lord Nityananda and a glimpse of understanding of how the previous acharyas, the Goswamis, viewed the importance of Nityananda Prabhu. That without the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, our life is more or less like a misbehaved, out of control animal. Let us try to understand who is this Nityananda Prabhu? What is the relationship to him? So let us go a little bit deeper and see who Nityananda Prabhu is. So the description of who Nityananda Prabhu is, there is a chapter in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in Adi Lila, chapter 5. If you are having time, I recommend you to read this chapter. This chapter has over 160 verses or 180 verses. The title of the chapter is Glories of Lord Nityananda. That is the title of the chapter. This is chapter 5 in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila. So let us look at what this chapter is saying, how this chapter is explaining the role of Nityananda Prabhu. So the beginning, I'll just read this verse. Sarva Avatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tanhara Dvitiya Deha Sri Balaram. So before we try to understand Nityananda Prabhu, let us first start with understanding Krishna and Balaram. So Chaitanya Charitamrita is authored by exalted Goswami by the name Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Sarva Avatari Krishna. Sarva Avatari means that Krishna, who is the source of all incarnations, he is the Avatari, who is the source of all the avatars. That person, that Krishna, who is that person? He is Swayam Bhagavan. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the source of all incarnations, Krishna, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he has two bodies. One is Krishna body, transcendental body, and Deha, Dvitiya Deha, Sri Balarama. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balarama is his second body. So it is one person Krishna. How inconceivable it is for us. Is it even imaginable that I am sitting here and I have one more body on the side? Maybe whenever I want to go for playing tennis, I take the tennis body and I say, all right, you go win all tennis tournaments. When I want to score the topmost in GRE or SAT or one of those exams, I will send the student body and he will go and score highest marks in all the exams. If I want to win WWE or one of those wrestling tournaments, I will send one wrestling body. Can we imagine like that? No, we are only having one body. We are residing in one body. But Krishna is unlimited. Krishna can expand himself in unlimited forms. So Krishna has a second body, and that second body is Lord Balaram. He is full. Krishna's complete Krishna is present in Lord Balaram, the same person, but is a second body. This is the statement of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, Lord Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the primeval Lord, the original form of Godhead, and his first expansion is Sri Balarama. The personality of Godhead can expand himself in innumerable forms. The forms that have unlimited potency are called Swamsha, and the forms that have limited potencies, the living entity, are called Vibhinnamsha. So there are two kinds of expansions of the Supreme Lord, Swamsha, and Balaram is a Swamsha, and other is Vibhinnamsha. The living entities are also expansions of the Supreme Lord, but we have very, very, very limited potency, tiny potency, minuscule, infinitesimal potency. So we are called Vibhinnamsha. And then next verse says, Ekai Swarupa Donhe Bhinna Matra Kaya Adya Kaya Vyuha Krishna Leela Sahaya. So Adya Kaya Vyuha. So what is Kaya Vyuha? Sorry. This Kaya Vyuha is referring to the Chatur Vyuha, or the quadruple expansion. So this Balarama, he expands himself into more expansions, in the quadruple expansions, and through those expansions, he assists Krishna in all his leelas. They are both one and the same identity. They differ only in form. He is the first bodily expansion of Krishna. So he means who? Balarama, Sri Balarama. He is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. And Prabhupada says, Balarama is a Swamsha expansion of the Lord, and therefore there is no difference in potency between Krishna and Balarama. The only difference is in their bodily structure. As the first expansion of Godhead, Balarama is the chief deity among the first quadruple forms, and he is the foremost assistant of Krishna in his transcendental activities. So I request all of you to pay close attention, as there is going to be more and more details about this coming. So please pay attention here. Shri Krishna Navadvipe Shri Chaitanya Chandra Shri Balarama Sangye Shri Nityananda. That original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvipa as Lord Chaitanya, and Balarama appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. Say Krishna, that very original Krishna. What did he do? Navadvipe Shri Chaitanya Chandra. He has appeared in Navadvipa as Lord Chaitanya, and say Balarama Sangye Shri Nityananda. And Balarama appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. Sankarshana Karana Toya Sai Garbhoda Sai cha Payobdhi Sai Shesas cha Yasyamsha Kalaha Sanitya Nandakhya Rama Sharanam Mamatsu. So this is a prayer. The meaning of this prayer is, may Sri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshana Karana Toya Sai. So there are several names mentioned here: Sankarshana, Karana, Toya Sai, Garbhoda Sai, cha Payobdhi Sai. So there are multiple Sais that are mentioned, and then there are Shesha, cha Yasyamsha Kalasa Nitya. So let us understand what this is. And we will have a little bit more details of this, but let's just understand this one verse. This verse is saying that Sankarshana and Sheshanaga and the Vishnus who lie, the Vishnus who lie on the Karana ocean, Garbha ocean, and the ocean of milk. So there are three Vishnus that are being mentioned. So one Vishnu is Karana ocean, another Vishnu is Garbha ocean, and the third Vishnu is lying on the milk ocean, plus Sheshanaga and Sankarshana. So a total of 5 personalities being mentioned here. So what about these 5 personalities? These 5 personalities are his plenary portions and portions of his plenary portions. Of whose? Lord Nityananda Ram. So Nityananda Ram is that same Balaram, same person, original Balaram, whose portions of plenary portions and plenary portions are Sankarshana, Sheshanaga, and the 3 Vishnus, the 3 Purushas. So such a person, such Sri Nityananda Ram be the object, may this person be the object of my constant remembrance. Paya Abdhi Sai. Payaha is milk. Abdhi is ocean, Sai. So the Vishnu who is lying down on the milk ocean. And then Garbha Uda Shai. Garbha Udaka. Uda is water. And Garbha is the universe, which is in the form of a womb. Garbha. And so that Garbhodaka ocean, Shai, lying down. So that Vishnu is lying down in that. Karana Toya Shai. So here another word is used, means water. Uda Toyam. Karana ocean. So the Vishnu who is lying in the causal ocean or the Karana ocean, that Vishnu. And then Sankarshana here is translated as Mahashankarshana. Mahasankarshana in the spiritual sky. And then Sheshaha is Sheshanaga. The couch of Vishnu is translated as the couch of Vishnu. And Cha Yasya, who's Amsha and Kala. So these 5 personalities, they are the plenary portions and portions of plenary portions, Amsha and Kala, of whom? Of Lord Balaram, who is also known as Lord Nityananda. And then he goes on to say, Sri Balaram Gosai Mula Sankarshana Pancharupadhari Karena Krishnera Sevana. So the 5 personalities that we just saw. So Lord Balarama or Nityananda Prabhu, he expands himself into these 5 forms and he serves Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. So Lord Balarama is the original Sankarshana. He assumes 5 other forms. Which 5 other forms? We just saw. Mahasankarshana, and then Sheshanaga, and then 3 Vishnu forms. So these 5 forms, who is expanding into these 5 forms? Nityananda Prabhu or Lord Balaram. So he's expanding into these 5 forms. And why is he expanding? To serve Lord Krishna. And there is one more name for Balarama or expansion, Moola Sankarshana. So Moola Sankarshana, Mahasankarshana, like that there are different names given. And then the next verse says, Srishti Adika Seva, Tanra Ajnara Palana, Shesha Rupe Kare, Krishnera Vividha Sevana. So through these forms, in what way does he serve Krishna? Srishti Adika Seva, in creation, sustenance, etc. So in all the activities of the creation, of material creation, Srishti Adi, and spiritual. So all the creation, sustenance is done by these forms. Tanra Ajnara Palana, Sesha Rupe Kare Krishnera Vividha Sevana. And in the form of Sheshanaga, he serves him in different ways. He expands himself as his umbrella, as his couch, as his other paraphernalia. There are 3 or 4 other things that he expands himself into. He executes the order of Lord Krishna in the work of creation, and in the form of Lord Shesha, he serves Krishna in various ways. And so here is the listing. We have already seen the 5 forms: Mahasankarshana, Karnodakashai Vishnu, Garbhodakashai Vishnu, Kshirodakashai Vishnu, and Shesha. These are the 5 plenary portions are responsible for both the spiritual and material cosmic manifestations. So this is very important for us to know. We have often heard about the material creation of material universe. We have heard in Bhagavatam. But these 5 incarnations, these 5 expansions and plenary portions, they are responsible for creation of spiritual planets also. Spiritual portions are responsible for both spiritual and material cosmic manifestation. So the entire spiritual manifestation, the Vaikuntha planets, they are all expansions of Sri Balarama. In these 5 forms, Lord Balaram assists Lord Krishna in his activities. The first 4 of these forms are responsible for the cosmic manifestations. And the cosmic manifestation includes both spiritual and material. Whereas Shesha is responsible for personal service to the Lord. Shesha is called Ananta or unlimited because he assists the personality of Godhead in his unlimited expansions by performing an unlimited variety of services. Sri Balarama is a servitor of Godhead who serves Lord Krishna in all affairs of existence and knowledge. Sat and Chit. Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is the same servitor Godhead Balarama, performs the same service to Lord Gauranga by constant association. And then we'll see this verse, and then I'll explain a little bit more about a few of these things. Sarve Rupa Aswadaye Krishna Sevananda Shri Balaram Gauranga Sangye Nityananda. So there is one very important word in this, Aswadaye, tastes. Sarva Rupa Aswadaye. So in this, what we just saw, the 5 forms in which Lord Balarama is expanding himself to serve Krishna, the important thing is he is tasting transcendental bliss in this service. He is constantly experiencing the bliss. He is immersed in the bliss completely in all these forms. So it is not as if Krishna has some created one bonded laborer who is or a robot that is forced to do menial tasks for Krishna, and just Krishna is sitting back, and then this robot is unwillingly engaging in service. Like in our case, sometimes when we have to do service, our mind is not always conducive. We are unable to taste the transcendental pleasure in our service. We sometimes do it out of a duty, or sometimes even a burden that it has been told we have to do. Sometimes we even refuse to do it because it is not convenient. So just see our condition. Very simple matter. If we are given a service and we know that Srila Prabhupada has created this program in which he understands our position. We cannot be chanting 64 rounds every day. He has drastically reduced the chanting time for us with the expectation that we will be spending the remaining time in service. And because he knows that we are full of anxiety, our lives are complicated, we're living in cities, we're not having simple life in the villages, our lives have become extremely complicated. So knowing our condition, pure devotee Srila Prabhupada, he has given us this discounted process that chant only 16 rounds, just 2 hours. And then engage yourself, find a way to constantly be engaged in practical devotional service by doing service. And for that, we have to beg for the service, and when the service is given, we have to do it. Now see the position of Balaram and see how that is related to us, and see how without the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, we cannot get to the point of tasting this transcendental bliss in the service. Because Nityananda Prabhu, as Balarama, is constantly blissfully performing service for the Supreme Lord in so many different ways, unlimited ways. And he is unable to fathom exactly how much he is enjoying in the transcendental bliss, nor can he estimate the glories of the Lord. And the glories are infinite and unending, and he's still discovering those glories. So the glories of the Lord are actually infinite. And we may think that it's the same thing that we are doing every day. Every day we wake up, every day we do chanting, every day we have to do cooking, every day we have to come every Saturday for this Bhagavad Gita class, every Sunday morning. So it may seem repetitive, but that is because we are unable to see the variety in spiritual life. And that variety in spiritual life, that unending variety, infinite variety, actually can only be seen by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Otherwise, in material life, looks like there is variety, but actually it is punah punah charvitas charvirana. We are simply chewing the chewed. Every day we look forward, we have a hope that tomorrow I can enjoy my life better. But the tomorrow comes, we try the same things, we again end in disappointment. So even if we are having a very good karma and we are able to enjoy some senses for some time, very soon old age comes. The same hands and legs the same senses with which we have enjoyed in our youth, we are not able to enjoy, and we are disappointed. So and then we again take birth. Then again we try to enjoy. Then again that is ending. Then again we take birth. This is punah punah charvitas charvananam, or chewing the chewed, but we are unable to see it. And we are thinking there is a lot of variety. We are thinking that every day I need some change in what I'm doing. Otherwise, job is boring. Even in office, we feel, oh no, this is boring. I've been doing this for 6 months. I need a change. So this change, this apparent change that is required, actually it is a repetition of the same. And what we are seeing as the same, which is everyday chanting, everyday doing service, reading of Bhagavad Gita, reading of Bhagavatam, actually that is where the variety is, and we are unable to see it. And that vision, for us to get that vision, we require the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, who is living that taste every moment of his life. In all the forms, he tastes the transcendental bliss of serving Krishna. That same Balarama is Lord Nityananda, the companion of Gaurasundara. So we saw that there are 5 forms. Now let us take a closer look at these forms and how the sequence of expansion is happening. All these forms are eternal, and yet there is a sequence in which that has been explained of how the expansions happen. Lord, the original personality of Godhead, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, expands himself as Balarama. We just saw that. And then Lord Balarama, he expands himself in the first quadruple expansion as Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So these are the first quadruple expansions of Lord Balarama. And out of these 4 expansions, the expansion that is known as Sankarshana further expands himself into a form that is known as Narayana. And this Narayana, it is stated in the Sri Vaishnava literature by the followers of Ramanujacharya. There is a detailed description about the qualities, transcendental qualities of Lord Narayana, and how he is served by the principal 3 energies that are called Shri, Bhu, and Nila energies. Shri, Bhu, and Nila energies. These are the energies that are serving Lord Narayana in the spiritual world, in Narayana's abode, which are the Vaikuntha Dhams. So there are millions of Vaikuntha planets In each of these Vaikuntha planets, the Supreme Lord in the Narayana form, 400 Narayana form, he is the presiding deity of these planets. And in these planets, he is served by these three spiritual energies, these three energies, Shri, Bhu, and Nila energies in the spiritual world. This Narayana form, he expands himself into the another quadruple expansion that is known as Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Again, they are the same names, but these are 4 additional forms. And in this, the Sankarshana form is also called Maha Sankarshana. And he is also known as the sum total of all the jivas. So he is the shelter of all the living entities. All the living entities originally are coming from him, from this form of the Supreme Lord, or this expansion of Nityananda Prabhu. So just to remind all of us that this Balarama that you're seeing here, Krishna is expanding as Balarama. That Balarama is the same as Nityananda Prabhu. And all the expansions that you see on the slide after Balarama, they are all expansions. They are plenary portions or portions of plenary portions of Nityananda Prabhu. So we are trying to understand the glories of Nityananda Prabhu. We are trying to understand who Nityananda Prabhu is. So let us see the position of Nityananda Prabhu here. He is the source of the first quadruple expansion. He is the source of Narayana. He is the source of the second quadruple expansion. He is the source of Mahasankarshana. This Mahasankarshana then expands himself in the Karana ocean as Karana Udakashayi Vishnu, Karana Udakashayi Vishnu, who is also referred to as Mahavishnu. So this Mahavishnu is an expansion of Mahasankarshana, who is, so you can see what is meant by plenary portion or portion of plenary portion. So this Mahavishnu or Karnodakashayi Vishnu is actually Kala, Amsha and Kala we say. So Kala of Nityananda Prabhu. And this Karnodakashayi Vishnu, he is lying in the causal ocean, Karana ocean, and from his breathing, from the pores of the hair follicles on his body, millions of universes are coming out. And these universes, they come out of his body when he breathes out. They stay for the duration of one breath. And when he breathes in, these universes go back into his body. Millions of universes. And inside each universe, there is further creation that is happening. So just imagine the position of this Karnodakashayi Vishnu. And this Karnodakashayi Vishnu is a portion of plenary portion of Nityananda Prabhu. So this, there are further expansions, Ananta Sesha, and then in each created universe, each of the universes that is coming out of Lord Vishnu's pores, Karnodakashayi Vishnu further expands himself. He enters into each of these universes and then fills half of the universe. So now we are talking about millions of universes. In each of these millions of universes, Karnodakashayi Vishnu is entering. And he fills each one of those universes up to half with the perspiration, the water of his perspiration. It is very dark in this universe. So he fills it first with water of his perspiration. And then he lies down in that water of his perspiration. And this expansion of the Lord, as he's lying down inside this water of his own perspiration, this expansion is called Garbha Udaka Shayi Vishnu, Garbhodaka Shayi Vishnu. From this Garbhodaka Shayi Vishnu, from his navel, there is a lotus that springs forth, and on top of this lotus, there is Brahma who appears, and the stem of the lotus are all the 14 planetary systems. There are 7 higher planetary systems, 7 lower planetary systems. They're all situated in the stem of this lotus. So imagine this entire universe that we are living in now. All of this is situated inside this lotus. The size of the universe has also been given in the Shastras. It is said that actually these wonderful explanations of the cosmic manifestations, because of our conditioning, they look astonishing. They look difficult to believe. But actually, if you consider the cause and effect, we have very poor understanding of what cause and effect is. And then we have an entire scientific ecosystem that has been created around a fundamentally flawed understanding of cause and effect. The actual cause, what we see in our material nature, that there is sunshine and water evaporates to form clouds, and then the clouds, there is wind, carries the clouds, and then there is a rainfall that causes rain. So these are immediate causes. But are we studying further causes? Anybody who sees that there is rainfall may think, where is this rain coming? Somebody may think rain is coming because of cloud. But then you further analyze where the clouds came from. The clouds came here, yesterday they were not here, today they have come here. That means winds have carried the cloud here. So the cause of the rain, you can say actually winds are the cause, further cause. Then where is the winds? Where are they getting the water from? Wind alone cannot cause. Oh, no. Actually, before the wind blew, there was already cloud which was there on top of the ocean. Really? How did cloud come on top of ocean? Oh no, sun was shining on the ocean. So the water took all the water, got evaporated and became cloud. Oh, so sun is the cause. Oh, so sun is the cause of the rain. All right, where did the sun come from? And then it goes, now it is beyond, ordinary person cannot understand where sun is coming from. So we have created a body of scientists who go try to research this, and they come up with various explanations. But if somebody is a sincere scientist, then upon inquiring into the cause of the sun and the cause of what caused that and everything, go on researching, they can actually, through their own senses, not come to the conclusion of how this cosmic manifestation has come about. The cosmic manifestation, as we see, has been created to bewilder us. It has been designed in such a way that we cannot find out the cause on our own, because it has been meant to keep us under illusion. So if there is something designed to keep you under illusion, how can you find out by yourself what it is? There is an example given. If there is a small child that comes looking for a toy, and then you hide the toy from the child, and then you ask the child, where is the toy? You have deliberately hidden the toy. A small child, 2-year-old child. Can the child figure out where the toy has gone? Cannot. One moment you may hold the toy in one hand, and then you'll do like that, and then hold it behind you. See, the toy has gone there, go and search. The child will go and search everywhere. Toy will not be found because it is hidden behind. There is a person who is deliberately hiding so that you may forget Krishna, because you wanted to forget Krishna. So this information can only be obtained from Shastras. The explanation of the psychology of the individual, the explanation of why the universe is the way it is, all of this can only be obtained from Shastra. So we have to accept these truths from revealed scriptures. And the revealed scriptures are saying the size of the universe is 500 million yojanas. Length and the breadth has been given. You have to accept it. 500 million yojanas. It's a definite measure. It has been given. We have to accept. Because by ourselves, if we try to find out, the universe has been designed in such a way that it will appear to be something very different. It has been designed like that. You cannot find what it is. So within this universe, Garbhodakashai Vishnu further expands himself into Kshirodakashai Vishnu. There are 7 different oceans, 7 different coverings of this universe, and there are different kinds of oceans. And one of those oceans is a milk ocean. Currently, what we see on planet Earth is a saltwater ocean. But even the scientists are saying that in other planets, there are other kinds of oceans. Sulfuric acid ocean, acidic ocean, various different kinds of oceans that are there in other planets. So the Shastras tell us that there are 7 different kinds of oceans, just like saltwater ocean. There are other kinds of oceans also. One of them is a milk ocean. And situated on this milk ocean, Garbhodakashai Vishnu further expands himself as Kshirodakashai Vishnu. And this Kshirodakashai Vishnu is invisible to even the Devatas. They go to the banks of this milk ocean and pray for his protection. And this Kshirodakashai Vishnu, he is a super soul of all the living entities, and he is the one who descends into the various planets to protect the pious and annihilate the miscreants and re-establish the principles of religion. That is, those expansions are done by Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, um, he is the super soul of the universe, the super soul of the universe, whereas Kshirodakashaya Vishnu is the super soul of the living entities. So there is a difference between them. Super soul of the universe, we read in Kunti Maharani's prayers, Atha Vishwesha Vishwatman. So super soul of the universe, that is referring to Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. And Kshirodakashaya Vishnu is a Paramatma in our heart. He expands his Paramatma in our heart. He also, all the avatars that we are having, today is Vamana Dwadashi, fasting for Vamana Dwadashi, tomorrow is Dwadashi. Today is Varaha Dwadashi, sorry. Varaha Dwadashi Maha Mahotsav ki Jai. So tomorrow is Varaha Dwadashi, today is the fasting for that. We all fasted till noon. This expansion as Varaha Avatara, that was done by Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, who is Kala, plenary portion of who? Nityananda Prabhu. This is Nityananda Prabhu. So just consider who Nityananda Prabhu is. Nityanandam Aham Navomi. Please repeat after me. Nityanandam Aham Navomi. Sarvanandam Karam Param. Harinama Pradam Devam. Avadhuta Shiromani. So this Nityananda Prabhu's mercy is available to us through disciplic succession in the form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So when we are chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we have to remember that this is available to us in the disciplic succession from Nityananda Prabhu, Harinama Pradam Devam. This is how he is showing his mercy to us in the form of giving us the holy name. I just want to read some stunning statements, very prayerful mood given by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in recognizing these expansions of Nityananda Prabhu as Nityananda Prabhu. So let us just look at these. So first, Krishna is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Balarama is Lord Nityananda Prabhu. We've seen that. That Sankarshana, who is transcendental pure goodness, is a partial expansion of Nityananda Balaram. And here is one more prayer. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose partial representation, called Karnodakashaya Vishnu, lying on the Karna ocean, is the original Purusha, the master of illusory energy and the shelter of all the universes. So this Karnodakashaya Vishnu, as we saw, he is the origin of Mahat Tattva, and he is the one who glances on nature, material nature, Prakriti, to inject the Prakriti with all the living entities, and that results in creation of all the universes and injection and populating the universes with all the living entities. And we saw how the cause, I took the example of cloud, the same thing can be seen with the potter. When we see that there is a pot, the cause of the pot, you can say that the pot comes from the earth. It is made out of earth. You can also say that the pot came because of sunshine, because without sunshine, the pot cannot dry. You can say that the pot came because of the potter's wheel. Without the potter's wheel, the clay will remain just clay. It won't become a pot. But an intelligent person knows that you can have the wheel, you can have the clay, you can have the sun, you can have the workshop wherever pot is made, but none of them will result in the pot unless there's a potter behind it. The potter makes the pot. Similarly, this entire cosmic manifestation, you can see immediate cause and effect. You can see that there is some sunshine that is causing the rain. You can see that there are trees and vegetables that are growing, that somebody is eating, and then something is growing, and there are oceans and rivers and mountains. All those things can be seen. But behind all of this, there is a potter. There is original cause who is a person. That is Karnotaka Vishnu, who is a portion of plenary portion, who is a plenary portion or portion of plenary portion of Nityananda Prabhu. And then we saw Garbhodaka Vishnu and Shirodaka Vishnu. And then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami concludes this chapter, this portion of this chapter, by saying, Sri Chaitanya Sai Krishna, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Purna Kare, Chaitanya Erakam. Lord Chaitanya is the same Lord Krishna, and Lord Nityananda is Lord Balarama. Lord Nityananda fulfills all of Lord Chaitanya's desires. So this is who Lord Nityananda is, and simply by a portion of his own expansion, he has injected all the living entities into Prakriti. We have come into existence. We are in this body because of an explicit action by a expansion of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So if you want to know what is our position, what is our relationship with Nityananda Prabhu, we are here because of him. We are in this body because of him. That is our relationship with him. And if you want to get out of this body also, we require his mercy. So he has put us here, he can only take out here. And he has given the formula also through disciplic succession. What is that formula? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is the place, Ekachakra Gram, where he has appeared here 500 years back. He appeared in the year 1474, in the village of Ekachakra. He appeared 12 years prior to the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His mother's name in this appearance is Padmavati, and his father's name is Hadai Pandita. Hadai Oja. Hadai Oja is also called Hadai Pandita. When he had completed 12 years of age, so remember, after he completed 12 years of age, that is when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared. And just look at what has happened at the time. Many of us have children, 12 years of age, 15 years of age, and just see what happened at the age of 12 to Nityananda Prabhu. There was a traveling sannyasi who came there to his house, to his parents' house, and after having stayed in his house for some time, he asked, that traveling sannyasi asked, seeing that Nityananda Prabhu was so full of devotion, because Nityananda Prabhu was always immersed in spontaneous love for the Supreme Lord. He will often enact pastimes of Krishna Leela, either being Rama Lakshmana Leela or Krishna Balaram. He will enact such pastimes. And seeing these wonderful qualities of Nityananda Prabhu, the sannyasi asked his father, can you please send him with me? I need a brahmachari assistant to help me. Now, if this question was put to us, please give me your son. I want to take him with me. What will be our reaction? In fact, Srila Prabhupada has often quoted this, that sometimes he has asked that, and he's not that Prabhupada will take away and not show him back, not the way the sannyasi is asking. So this sannyasi, let me complete the story first. So the sannyasi asked for Nityananda Prabhu from his father, and his father agreed reluctantly, because that is a Vedic culture. They were from a very pious background, and they were bound by the Vedic culture. When a guest, such an exalted guest, sannyasi is coming and asking, they could not refuse. So they have given away their son, Nityananda Prabhu, who was the love of their life. Padmavati and Hadai Pandita, they were completely devoted. In fact, the entire village of Ekachakra was devoted to Nityananda Prabhu, and they were grief-stricken when sannyasi took him away. And his father, Hadai Pandita, could not tolerate. Very soon he passed away after that in separation from Nityananda Prabhu. So when Srila Prabhupada was trying to expand the preaching mission of Lord Chaitanya, he would sometimes go and ask householders that you anyway have to train your child in education. Give him to me. I will train him properly in Krishna consciousness and give him a good life. But the householders will refuse. They will say, what will he do with all this education about Krishna? What's the use of us? You let him go to school, he will learn some skill, he can maintain his livelihood. This is the attitude, to the extent that even today, when somebody, after becoming an adult, is voluntarily joining the Krishna consciousness movement, the society thinks that he's being brainwashed, and they create all kinds of program to rescue such a person. But actually, that person is being rescued by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Not understanding this, the society is thinking that Srila Prabhupada's movement is actually brainwashing the youth. But actually, it is not it is the other way around. That the society is brainwashing the youth to declare himself a servant of false hope for the entire life, working for considering asat to be sat. But this is what happened with Nityananda Prabhu at the age of completion of 12th and 13th year. He went along with the sannyasi. The sannyasi took him to Vrindavan and many other places. So he stayed in Vrindavan for some time. And when he came to know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared, then he traveled to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this was much later, in 1506 is when they met. So there are the pastimes of Lord Nityananda Prabhu are infinite, unending pastimes, and nobody can fathom the limit of this. It is very, very difficult for us to understand the life and pastimes of this Avadhuta. There is a very interesting definition of Avadhuta given by Srila Prabhupada in Srimad Bhagavatam. Avadhuta Shiromani, this verse that we just chanted. Nityanandam aham naomi sarvanandam karamparam harinam pradam devam avadhuta shiromani. He's a shiromani, he's an epitome of all avadhutas. So what is this avadhuta? Avadhuta means a person who does not care about his bodily comforts or bodily needs. Nityananda Prabhu had absolutely no concern for his bodily needs. His devotees also were like that, avadhutas. So there was he had several disciples, and his close confidential servants, they were all avadhutas. There were many of them were like that. They did not have any care for their bodily needs, and nor did they care for social customs. And yet, anybody who met them, either Nityananda Prabhu or his disciples, they would be immediately filled with ecstatic love of God. It was impossible to be not influenced by the devotees, by the followers of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So that is introduction, a glimpse. I'm hoping that this session has given us a glimpse into the wonderful the word I'm looking for. It comes in chanting or magnificent, not magnificent. No, not magnificent. Like big.
Magnanimous.
Not Surya. Not
magnanimous.
Merciful, kind. Very big. Okay. He is the origin of all universes. Origin of all universes. The Karanadagoshai Vishnu is simply a Kala, Amsha of Nityananda Prabhu. And our relationship with him, he has injected all of us into Prakriti and given us these bodies. He has put us in these bodies. And so with this brief introduction, I'll just stop here and see if you have any comments to share. Anything that you'd like to share or ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in I think last year in one of the sessions, like it was told like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu given Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? But as you said, Lord Nityananda Prabhu gave that, right?
Yes.
I mean, Lord Nityananda Prabhu gave it to Sri Lord Chaitanya, or how is it?
No. It's not like that. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. Lord Nityananda is Balarama. He is eternal servitor. He is assisting Lord Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his mission. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants every living entity to come back home, back to Godhead, back to him in Goloka Vrindavan. And he wants every living entity to be... How can we do that in Kali Yuga? Kali Kale Nama Rupa Krishna Avatara. If you want to touch Krishna, we have to do it through his holy name. And without chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, there is no other way to counteract the effects of Kali. So this is Lord Chaitanya's mission. Lord Nityananda Prabhu is making that mission a reality. He is the Adi Guru. He is the prime preacher. And his entire preaching mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is headed by Nityananda Prabhu. Therefore, so the disciplic succession of all the Acharya, Vaishnava Acharyas, they are all taking inspiration and direction from Nityananda Prabhu to carry out this preaching mission.
Okay.
We have been given this name through disciplic succession. Of course, we got it from Prabhupada, but the disciplic succession is coming from Nityananda Prabhu, and preaching mission is being organized, orchestrated by him. You'll see how the beginning, even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was present, how Nityananda Prabhu was orchestrating all of that preaching mission, and very notably deliverance of Jagai and Madhai. We have seen that many times. Maybe it will be covered, not sure, but his method is of serving Lord Gauranga is to spread the holy name. By the order of Lord Chaitanya. Any other thoughts? Anybody would like to mention one line? Any other than Jagai Madhai? Any other pastime of Nityananda Prabhu that you are aware of? Just one line. Jagannath Prabhu? One line. Any one pastime? Anybody would like to share? Sukirti Prabhu? He's into body. Sukirti Prabhu has expanded himself. Okay, no problem. We'll stop here. All of you, please come on camera and repeat after me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
श्री
Hare.
चैतन्य चरितामृता की,
Jai
नित्यानंद त्रयोदशी महामहोत्सव की,
Jai
जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की, जय गौर प्रेमानंदे.
Hare Om.
I want to say वराह द्वादशी महामहोत्सव की,
Jai